We have with us Professor Banji Akintoye, the leader of the Ilana Omo Otua. He's the leading figure in the movement for the creation of the Yoruba nation, so to speak. Professor Akintoye is in his 80s, about 86 years old, and he doesn't need much introduction. So, of course, this entire episode is being streamed live on Facebook. You can send in questions and comment, like, and share. And later on, it will also be put on all our platforms, so you can visit. Thank you, Prof, for joining us this Tuesday morning.
Thank you.
Let me ask the first question. At 86, why are you leading this struggle at 86?
Well, I grew up in Nigeria, in a Nigeria that held out a lot of hope for people. In the Western region of the 1950s, when I was a young man, we were so sure that Nigeria was going to go places in the world, was going to rise to the height, to the highest levels in the world. Chief Awolowo, our father, Chief Awolowo, reinforced that hope very much. In fact, it was the foundation of the hope in our Western region. So we went into independence, and since then, everything's been going down for Nigeria. The problem is the people whom the British installed in power in 1959, who then became the first government of Nigeria at independence, could not understand the nature of country that we have. As far as they were concerned, they were the people in power, and they had the authority, the power to do anything and everything. They were particularly hostile to the idea of near autonomous regions. Actually, they had taken part in acquiring a lot of autonomy for the regions in the 1950s. Under Sir Ahmadu Bello, who was always asking for more power for the region. His reason for doing that was that he feared, the northern elite feared, that in a Nigeria, in an independent Nigeria, the northerners, the Fulani leadership of the north was going to be an underdog vis-a-vis the elite of the southwest and the southeast. But once the British took the step of empowering them, of conferring power on them at independence, they saw that, oh, the answer to their fear is to subdue the rest of Nigeria. And so their first step was in 1962, try to destroy the strength and the confidence of the Western region. You know the story. They came in, they carried out a covert operation that broke the leadership of the Western region. Then they hurried in with the power of the federal government, imposed a sole administrator, and then tried to impose upon the Western region people who are ready to submit to their leadership. And the people of the Western region revolted. And that has been the beginning. That was the beginning of the gradual decline of Nigeria into one, excessive accumulation of power in the federal center. Two, accumulation of power in the people who are holding the power at independence. That is the Fulani elite of northern Nigeria. And it has gone, those two trends have gone down, have escalated steadily since that time. The coups that occurred were almost all, especially after the first coup, all the coups that occurred from July 1966 were masterminded by northern military officers. And they produced northern military dictators. And in all of this forum, in all of this context, the powers of Nigeria were gradually accumulated into the center and into the north. And that's the situation. So Nigeria has gone down and down and down. We even had a civil war, it didn't change anything. Then Chief Awolowo came out very bravely, bravely, great intellectual power. In 1975, after the some years after the civil war, and said, let's see, we can rebuild Nigeria. We can build Nigeria and make it a great country again. By that time, I was no longer a young man. I was well, I was still a young man, but I was no longer a school kid. I was already a university professor. And Papa Awolowo came around and challenged us to come and join in the crusade to build our country into a great country. We have the resources, he said. We have the manpower. Let us do it. And so many of us invested our life in the venture, the Unity Party of Nigeria. We had great ideas for Nigeria. We reached a point at which young professors like myself began to brag that we were going to build Nigeria into the black man's world power of modern times. Well, it didn't work. The decline continued, the retrogression continued. And it has reached a point now that Nigeria is no longer really a country. Why do I say it's no longer a country? There is no other country in the world where one section, one region says we are going to conquer the rest. The Fulani leadership of the North is now sponsoring their men to go to use cattle, to weaponize cattle and poverty, to go and subdue the South and the Middle Belt. That we are the only such country in the world today, probably the only such country anywhere, anytime in the history of the world, that one section is saying we are going to conquer you, we are going to subdue you, we will not let you go. We will make ourselves the controllers and owners of the resources of your land. We will treat you more or less like slaves.
But Prof, well, let me ask you this: have you been able to galvanize young Nigeria into your movement? Because at 86 now, you know that yes, time is very limited. Yes, so
86 is an unusual age to be leading what I'm leading now. But I am a product of my history. My highest political intervention in Nigeria was under Chief Awolowo, and that is a purposeful leadership of the most sublime kind. I cannot rob myself. I cannot rob that out of my life. I am a product of the Awolowo idea and dedication and sacrifice. It is a pity that I went away. Well, it's not a pity. I went away because I was unhappy with the way Nigeria was being run. Nigeria was descending into corruption and lawlessness, and power of government was being used for illegalities, and I could not stand it. I left. My friends were angry with me. They said, oh, let's stand and win elections. So they won the election in 1993, and the election was abrogated. And then a dictatorship of the most hideous type descended upon Nigeria under Abacha. And my friends who had said I should not have left home were now rushing to all over the world. And I had many of them, come to stay with me and so on. So, no. Yes, I'm doing it at a late age. But if I do not do this, I do not want to go to my grave with the feeling that the country that I loved and gave my life to is dying in my presence, and I just stayed there until the power of God comes to take me home. No, I want to be able to say to myself, I fought a good fight. And when I see Chief Awolowo, I'm sure that he will open his eyes and welcome me as a good boy. Yes, I have to do this now. I have to do this now. Okay, and we have involved large, now it is for the youth actually, it's not for me. The other day, one of them called your leader. I said, don't call me leader, I'm not your leader. You are the leaders. I am just your father. I will guide you, I will help you. I will show you the path to success. But I don't feel like your leader, I feel like your father. That's it.
Okay, Prof, you spoke earlier on about the perceived or the alleged marginalization of the Yoruba race within Nigeria. But you had the likes of Olusegun Obasanjo, who ruled this country for about 11 years, although non-consecutive, 8 years as a military president and about 3 years as a 8 years as a civilian and 3 years as a general. And then you have the vice president, Yemi Badjo, who is from the Southwest. And also, there are already talks that in the next 2 years, Southwest will take over again as the president of this nation. So where does the marginalization you talk about, where does it come in?
You are talking of the superficialities, the superficials. The realities are different. Whoever rules Nigeria rules in the context of a country that is owned and dominated by the North. By North, I mean the Northwest. And so, Obasanjo as president, under him, the northern elite combated the North against the constitution of Nigeria into a separate Islamic state. Obasanjo could not do anything about it. He could not. Under him, a Fulani intellectual wrote a paper for the Center for Democratic Development, for Democratic Research and Development in Abuja, to say that the nationalities, the ethnic groups of Nigeria are not nationalities at all. And that was a treatise in 2 pieces that was written for CEDAT, the Center for Democratic Research and Development, under the presidency of General Obasanjo in 2001, I think 2000 to 2001. And to say that the Yoruba are not a nation, the Igbo are not a nation, the Urobo are just a congeries of fragments and so on. That parts of the people who now call themselves Igbo are not Igbo until recently, and began to drag down all the nations other than the people of the North. Listen, and Obasanjo could not do anything about it. That was a dangerous philosophy that was being foisted upon Nigeria, and nobody did anything about it. And it is the dominant philosophy of the people who rule Nigeria today. So you'd say Obasanjo, yes, Obasanjo has been, he's a beloved son of the Yoruba people. We love him and so on. But we know that he was ruling in a situation in which the president of Nigeria was beholding onto powers under the table that the rest of us could not do anything about, that he himself could not do anything about. And that's Obasanjo, not to come and talk of Vice President Osinbajo. Osinbajo is one of the most educated men who ever took part in the governance of Nigeria. See the things he's doing. Is he doing them free will? Would a man of his caliber, of his intellectual and religious caliber, go abroad to go and say that when we say kidnapping is happening in the Western region, that we are lying? that the world must not believe us. When they make a noise about kidnapping, we go and investigate and we find that there's nothing at the bottom of it. Is that true? Do we know that to be true? He's reported to have made another statement a few weeks ago to the effect that people say they are killing. I don't know, you know. I hope he didn't make that statement, but he's alleged to have made it. I don't know what's the big deal about people being killed in Nigeria.
Well, I can't really
what is the big deal if Nigerians go to bed hungry and so on? Why do you think he's doing all of that?
We can't really confirm that he made those statements.
Pardon?
So we can't really confirm he made those statements.
Yeah, okay, but with the one he did in London, in America, we can confirm it. You know, a man of his level going to the marketplace to distribute pennies to traders. Listen, we are living under a system that has become rigid and powerful. And there is no president of Nigeria. Jonathan was a Southerner. What could we do? So let us not deceive ourselves. This man is president, that man is vice president, that man is senator, and so it's all the superficials. The inner making of the system is more powerful than all of that.
All right, Prof. You're said to be in Benin Republic currently, helping to coordinate Sunday Igboho's defense. I just want to find out from you, what's the update on that, on Sunday Igboho's travel in Benin Republic?
He's here and he's safe. And we finally got him to be decently treated. I don't know how soon he will leave, but I know that someday he will leave. And I and others and a few other leaders who have agreed to come so we can stay and fight his cause are here. And we will be here until he goes wherever he chooses to go in the world.
All right, Prof. One of your major supporters, Chief Femi Fani-Kayode, who was among those, supporting the Yoruba agitation, has now crossed to the APC and he's working closely with the president now. Won't this affect the movement in any way?
Chief Fani-Kayode is a younger brother of mine whom I respect a lot. But I want you to know, I want the rest of the world to know that he was never part of the Yoruba self-determination struggle. He was never part of the Yoruba self-determination struggle. I love him, I respect him, but that's the truth. He was never part of the Yoruba self-determination struggle.
Okay. The reason I ask this question is that some 3 months ago, Sunday Igboho said that Fani-Kayode is strongly with them. That's what he said. He said they're strongly.
Yes, you know, in the excitement of the running around, people say quite things that when you look at them closely, they are not entirely true. Yeah, you know, as I said, Fani-Kayode is a very attractive brother of ours. So we would have loved for him to have come and joined us. He would have been a great asset, but he chose not to do so. That's okay. That doesn't diminish my admiration and love for him at all.
The presidency said you are organizing violent rallies along with IPOB, which it has designated a terrorist organization. Don't you fear now that your organization could also be termed a terrorist one?
Two answers there. The first, that we have made it clear from day one that we are a group, that our struggle in Yoruba land, in the southwest of Nigeria, will be peaceful and law-abiding. And we have stayed with that. I even wrote a manual for the struggle, a book that is now circulating. We published it in February this year, and now it is circulating to the news media all over the world. We are a thoroughly, intellectually, thoroughly peaceful and law-abiding movement. When our young people decided to, it isn't there in the manual. If you are going to hold a rally, you must make sure that you do it in a peaceful manner. Never regard the police as your enemy. They are not our enemies. They are doing a job because they have to work. But that doesn't make them our enemies. And we held a huge rally of about 1.2 million people in Ibadan, a larger rally in Abeokuta, a much larger rally still in Osogbo, and a larger rally than Osogbo in Akure, and the largest rally to date in Ado-Ekiti. And there was no illegality, there was no violence, there was no conflict with the police, nobody was arrested, nobody was wounded, no property was damaged. I think we established by those 5 major rallies, what we proudly call them mega rallies. We established very clearly that we're a peaceful organization. We are peaceful. We operate by peaceful means. We also operate by using the law of the land. We use the power of the law of the land to fight our cause. So we are not, we know the laws of this world. The United Nations, the African Union, the European Union, and so on, all have charters in which they proclaim very clearly that every nationality in the world has a right to self-determination, that they are free to try to assert their self-determination, and that when they try to do that, the government of the country to which they belong must not try to impede them, must not, for instance, begin to infringe upon their human rights, and must not take the military to their land. But that these declarations do not entitle any nationality, any people in the world to start insurrection in the country to which they belong or to engage in illegal and violent actions. We know that. That is very clearly pasted up in our secretariat everywhere. We have a right to demand, to assert our self-determination. We have a right to organize rallies peacefully. The government of Nigeria has no right to stop our rallies. We have a right to propagate our belief.
Yes, Prof. But what of the IPOB connection? The IPOB connection.
But you see, in only one thing has IPOB showed up. IPOB has chosen its own path. Chose its own path. I am talking of the Yoruba path, where Yoruba say our cause is noble, therefore we pursue it by the noble path. That's the Yoruba state. It's in our manifesto. But IPOB and the bright young men who are following him in the East, in the Golan, think that they can get what they want by violence. We Yoruba don't believe that. We have always made it clear that we do not work with IPOB. However, if we join an alliance that is organized like NINAS, Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination, does not have any relationship with IPOB. But if NINAS is organizing a rally, and the young men who belong to IPOB come there, I don't think that their friends in Yoruba land and in the Middle Belt would tell them, go away, you don't belong here. No, I don't think so. So their being there is no proof at all that we have made an alliance with a violent organization. We have not. We are a resolutely and intellectually peaceful and law-abiding organization.
All right, Prof. The presidency has appealed to the media not to focus on separatist protests at the United Nations General Assembly. What is it that you are planning there? Because the belief is that you are all trying to embarrass the president who has gone to the UN General Assembly in the interest of Nigeria. What is the essence of your protest there at the General Assembly?
I am sure that you are talking to any of our members, even the youngest person will tell you we don't aim to embarrass anybody. Our manual says we will act always with respect, with careful respect for the laws of Nigeria, for the government of Nigeria. Not embarrassing anybody. We are not trying to embarrass anybody. We need to let the world know what is happening to us and what we desire. That's what we are doing.
Okay.
We are not embarrassing anybody.
All right. Just 2 days ago, the Northern Elders Forum, they said the North, they have the numbers to continue to rule the nation. And they're opposed to what the Southern Governors Forum has been saying, that is demanding that power returns to the South in 2023. Well, on the side, you are fighting for agitation, for succession. Currently, Nigerian law doesn't even accommodate referendum. So don't you think it's better for you to support a presidential candidate now, or a party that will support your cause, so that in 2023 you can push for constitutional amendment? Don't you think so?
I have said it before. The presidency of Nigeria, who is president, who is not president, is immaterial in the situation. We have chosen our path. We want to have a separate country of our own that we can run like a modern country, not like some primitive enterprise with public officials acting as if they are above the law, and with human development declining all the time. We do not want to end up in our southwest, in the Yoruba homeland, with educated Almajiri. No, we want our young men to come back home and develop their country into one of the most glistering countries in the world. We are capable of getting that done. We can surprise the world if we have a chance to rule ourselves. That's what we are asking for. That's what we are aiming for. We are not, in the business of embarrassing anybody or and so on. No. We are on a noble cause, and we are pursuing it in the noblest of ways.
But don't you fear that if the North retains power in 2023, your cause becomes more or less a pipe dream?
If whether the North retains power or not, whether the South gets what they call power in Nigeria or not, we want what we want. We don't want to be part of Nigeria anymore. That's all. And there is no looking back about that. Our cause is simple. So all these questions about the politics of Nigeria, who becomes president, who doesn't become president, has nothing to do with us. Nothing, absolutely. And as to referendum, the Constitution of Nigeria may not make any statement about referendum. Most constitutions in the world don't say anything about a referendum. But the path to referendum is clear. The path to referendum is clear. When we make our case strong enough, the world will listen, and the United Nations will come along and organize and supervise a referendum to find out whether what we are saying is what most of our people want. And when that happens, we will have our country the next day. That's it. The Constitution of Nigeria doesn't have to talk about a referendum. And even if it talks about a referendum, we know that the people who are ruling Nigeria will never let us carry out a referendum.
Right. Thank you so much, Prof. We've been speaking with Professor Banji Akintoye, leader of the Lano Omogua, who is fighting for the secession of the Southwest Nigeria as an independent.
It's fighting for a new Yoruba country.
New Yoruba country. So thank you all for joining us this morning. Our entire chat has been recorded live as well. You can go back to Punch page on Facebook, share, like, and comment. Thank you so much, Prof, for joining us this Tuesday.
Thank you for asking me to come.
Enjoy your day.